A video has just surfaced that has the entire gospel community talking, and it's raising questions, concern, and an outpouring of prayers for Bishop Charles E. Blake Sr. What you're about to see isn't just a clip. It's a moment that has left people shocked, emotional, and searching for answers. From the content of the video to the immediate reactions, this is a story that goes beyond headlines. And tonight, we're uncovering every detail you need to know. Stay with me because what happens next will surprise you, and the truth behind this video is far more complicated than anyone imagined. In recent hours, a video involving Bishop Charles E. Blake Sr. has surfaced online, sparking an outpouring of concern, support, and most importantly, prayers from the gospel community and beyond. For many, Bishop Blake isn't just a church leader, he's a spiritual icon whose life and ministry have impacted thousands of people over decades. But this video has left fans and followers asking what really happened. In this video, we'll break down the story behind the footage, share verified details, and explore the reactions that have taken the internet by storm. You'll learn what the video shows, why it has touched so many people emotionally, and what this means for Bishop Blake and the community around him. By the end, you'll have the full picture, the facts, the prayers, and the perspectives that everyone is talking about. And trust me, the most shocking part isn't just what appears on screen, but what it reveals about faith, leadership, and vulnerability in the public eye. It all started with a video that quickly began circulating on social media platforms, reaching gospel fans, church members, and even mainstream media outlets. The footage shows Bishop Charles E. Blake Sr., a man whose influence stretches across decades of ministry, in a moment that seemed unexpected, vulnerable, and deeply personal. For many, seeing a religious leader of his stature in such an unguarded moment was unprecedented. People who have long admired his wisdom and guidance were suddenly faced with a side of him that they rarely, if ever, witness in public. The video itself is short, but every second carries weight. Bishop Blake's expressions, tone, and demeanor immediately sparked concern among viewers. Comments began flooding in almost instantly, some expressing prayers, others questions, and a few even sharing personal stories of how Bishop Blake's leadership had impacted their own lives. What made this video so compelling wasn't scandal in the typical sense. There were no accusations or allegations, but the raw humanity of a man who, despite decades of leadership, showed vulnerability in a way that resonated deeply with people. In the hours following the video's release, online communities and church groups erupted in conversation. Clergy, gospel artists, and church members across the country began posting prayers, messages of support, and even calls for unity. The sheer speed at which this video gained traction signaled that it was more than just content. It was a moment that touched hearts, provoked reflection, and reminded people of the humanity behind spiritual leadership. Yet, even as the public shared prayers and encouragement, there was one lingering question that nobody could ignore. Why now? Why had this particular moment been captured, and why was it surfacing at this specific time? The answer to that question would prove to be more surprising than anyone anticipated, and it's exactly what we'll uncover in the next section. To fully understand why this video has struck such a nerve, you need to know who Bishop Charles E. Blake Sr. is and why his influence in the gospel community is unparalleled. Bishop Blake has spent decades building a ministry that goes beyond the pulpit. As a leader of the Church of God in Christ, Kojic, he has shaped the lives of thousands of pastors, leaders, and congregants. His sermons are studied, his decisions carry weight, and his presence commands respect. For many, he isn't just a bishop, he's a spiritual father, a mentor, and a symbol of enduring faith. Over the years, Bishop Blake has faced challenges and controversies like any public figure, yet he has maintained a reputation for wisdom, stability, and moral authority. His guidance has extended beyond churches into the broader community through philanthropic efforts, mentorship programs, and initiatives aimed at empowering young leaders. His impact is intergenerational, influencing people who have never met him personally but feel connected through his teachings and the reach of his ministry. That's why seeing him in the video, vulnerable and unguarded, was so powerful. It reminded people that even those we view as pillars of strength experience moments of weakness, reflection, and humanity. It's a lesson in humility that resonates across faith communities, that no matter how much authority someone carries, they are still human, still subject to life struggles, and still deserving of prayers, support, and empathy. But what made the video even more compelling and shocking to some was not just the vulnerability on display, it was the timing, the context, and the subtle details captured in the footage. The expressions, the tone of his voice, and the surrounding environment all hinted at a story deeper than what appears at first glance. People began to speculate, discuss, and ask questions about what led to this moment, and that speculation only intensified the need for clarity. And here's where it gets even more intriguing. Some insiders claim that the video wasn't just an accidental capture. There are whispers that it may have been recorded intentionally with the hope of conveying a message, sharing a prayer, or even revealing a hidden side of Bishop Blake that few have ever seen. The truth behind why this video emerged is something that the public hasn't fully uncovered yet, and the revelations that follow are both surprising and deeply moving. The video itself, though brief, carries a weight far beyond its length. In it, Bishop Charles E. Blake Sr. is seen in a reflective, solemn moment, appearing contemplative and deeply prayerful. He is not preaching or addressing a congregation in the usual commanding tone that so many associate with his leadership. Instead, he appears human, vulnerable, and almost introspective, a side that rarely captured on camera. It's a glimpse into the private life of a man whose public persona is typically that of unwavering authority, which is precisely what has drawn so much attention and concern. Immediately after the video circulated online, reactions poured in from every corner of the gospel community. Pastors, church leaders, and gospel artists and lay people alike shared heartfelt prayers for Bishop Blake, urging the community to come together in support of a man whose influence has shaped generations. Comments highlighted both admiration and concern, with viewers expressing shock at seeing such raw emotion. Many noted that it was a humbling reminder that even spiritual giants face moments of challenge and reflection, moments that require prayer and understanding from those around them. Some speculated about the circumstances that led to this captured moment. Was it a personal struggle, a moment of deep reflection on the state of his ministry, or perhaps a spiritual message he intended to convey privately, but which ended up reaching the public? The ambiguity of the footage created waves of curiosity and conversation. People began dissecting even the smallest details, the tone of his voice, the environment, the expressions on his face, and the way he positioned his hands in prayer. Every nuance sparked discussion and theories across social media and church networks. Despite the questions, the overwhelming sentiment was one of support. Clergy members urged the public to focus on sending prayers rather than speculation. Gospel artists recorded tributes and shared stories of Bishop Blake's mentorship and guidance, demonstrating the widespread respect he commands. Even non-religious viewers expressed awe at seeing a leader of such magnitude embrace vulnerability, a quality many rarely associate with public figures of his stature. Yet even with this overwhelming support and reflection, a quiet tension lingered beneath the surface. Some observers began to wonder if there was more to this video than what met the eye. Why had it emerged now? Could there be messages, lessons, or warnings embedded in this moment that the public have not yet discerned? These questions set the stage for the next part of the story, a story that would shed new light on both the video and the leader at its center, and leave viewers questioning what they thought they knew about Bishop Blake and the ministry he has devoted his life to building. The emergence of this video sent ripples throughout the gospel community, far beyond the immediate circle of Bishop Charles E. Blake Sr.'s church or followers. For decades, Bishop Blake has been seen as a spiritual anchor, a figure whose decisions, sermons, and guidance influence countless leaders and congregants worldwide. Seeing him in such a vulnerable, personal moment reminded everyone that even the most revered spiritual figures are human, with moments of doubt, reflection, and quiet prayer. Church leaders immediately recognized the importance of responding with both empathy and encouragement. Statements began circulating from pastors and gospel artists expressing prayers, support, and admiration for Bishop Blake. Many noted that this moment was a lesson in humility, a reminder that leadership is not only about strength, but also about transparency and authenticity. Social media feeds were flooded with hashtags like #prayers for Bishop Blake and #faith in action, with congregants sharing their own stories of how Bishop Blake's mentorship and sermons had impacted their own lives. It was clear that the video, brief as it was, had created a collective experience, uniting people across denominations, cities, and even countries. But the impact wasn't just emotional. It sparked deeper discussions about faith, leadership, and vulnerability. Clergy and scholars began analyzing what this video represented. Was it a subtle message to his congregation, a call for the community to unite in prayer for challenges unseen by the public eye? Or was it a rare glimpse into the private spiritual battles that even leaders